Hey everybody, this is Eli from Should I Watch It with my homeboy Steve, aka TD, and today we're gonna be reviewing.
TD.
Today we're gonna be reviewing the movie that you may be familiar with and have seen on Netflix, The Babadook. So, should I watch it? The Babadook. Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit how you feel about this movie? I know you've been chomping at the bit for this one.
Yeah, so I have some passionate hatred for this movie. It's been kind of boiling inside me for quite some time now, and I'm glad that I get the opportunity to speak my mind here. But it's voted one of the scariest movies of all time, and I strongly disagree with that. The movie is Australian. Eli, if you could hook me up with a budget real quick while I go on my rant. Basically, what we have here is we have a classic bait and switch maneuver by all these top 10 horror movie lists where they're saying, "Hey guys, who wants a really great horror movie?" And everybody goes to it and they find this sort of thriller. So there's a big difference between a thriller and a horror movie. A horror movie is where you're literally pissing your pants, you're freaked out, you can't go to sleep, and a thriller is one where you're like on the edge of your seat. And I got none of those from this. What's our budget?
Our budget, Steve, and I think you may want to retract some of your statements here, was only $2 million.
Oh wow, okay. What was it? Do we have like a box office number? Or did they not give that on Google?
Box office was
Regardless, it's an Australian flick, right?
no, it's America, it's U.S.
Okay, so I was
Oh,
wrong
wait,
about.
wait. UK. What the hell? All right, $559,000 in the UK for opening. Wait, box office. How do they do that? What? I'm confused. You know what? I'm gonna have to do a little more research. We'll put this in after the fact.
Yeah, we'll give a link below to some of the facts about the rant here, but my main points are I'm a big horror movie buff, and I found this movie offensive in that it wasn't scary at all. There were some scenes that were kind of jump out like, but when I put this movie next to something like a paranormal activity or a witch or something like that, they're not even the same spectrum. So I think overall my analysis is bait and switch for something like this, and I I mean, I guess you could check it out because there aren't very many quality horrors on Netflix. But um, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm definitely going to give it a 4 out of 10. I'm gonna lowball it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
You know, I'm not much of a horror buff as you described yourself. I'm actually more of a horror wimp.
Oh yeah.
I literally watched the movie Signs with Mel Gibson, which I don't know if you can call any movie with Mel Gibson in it a horror, but I watched that 4 times in the theaters like this.
That's a great movie.
And it took me four times just to be able to actually see the whole movie because I was covering my eyes so much. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought this movie was pretty freaking scary while watching it. It felt like a psychological horror movie. So I would give it a should I watch it? Yes. And I would give it probably a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Because I think there is an interesting piece where we have to think about movies that are on Netflix and like the supply. So like horror movies on Netflix, it's basically dog shit are your options. So on a spectrum,
Yeah.
you have like, you know, Netflix and you have your Babadook and then you have like your $400 budget one that got on there because they knew like somebody's dad that worked at Netflix or something. So there's
Right.
there's kind of a really big mismatch there. So we have to take that into account. That's kind of why I hiked my score up to a 4, whereas I'd preferably give it
Oh,
like,
you were being generous.
oh, I was being very generous, very generous. But there's also because it's on all these top 10 lists, and I see it, and I'm just like, God, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me? And I just feel cheated. I just feel cheated. But I mean, that's cool that their budget was so low because they probably grossed tons in the U.S. guaranteed.
Well, you know what? I have to actually tell you something. I misread it.
Oh,
And it looks like. So, yes, country Australia, Canada, United States. Budget was $2 million. Box office was $7.5 million.
wow. Okay. And compared to what I watched last night, the movie The Witch, their budget was 3 million, and they grossed 40 million in the box office.
Wow.
That's a profit, a pretty decent one, pretty decent profit. But
Sadate.
yeah, Sarate. Should I watch it? Yes. Are our ratings low? Yes. Do Netflix 4 selections suck? Yes. For the budget, fine. I'll give them that. But that does it for my rant about the Babadook movie. Babadook. Isn't that? I think that's. Dude. But yeah, we're going to be reviewing another movie next week that you guys are really going to love. Eli's going to be doing it right there. And definitely give us a like, give us a subscribe. And we will see you guys again for another episode of Should I Watch It next week. Yeah, throw those symbols up.